hey,
Yeah.
we'd like to cut the Pentagon. I mean, when's the last time a Democratic leader said that?
Said or did, Cenk? Obama said he would, and he did debilitate the military, but he then went on to start several new wars and escalate existing ones. But in all, I don't think the Pentagon itself was hurt, even a little bit. This is Reese, and welcome to Back Porch News. And today we are looking at Cenk Uygar of the hilariously named The Young Turks. Cenk recently caught some flack from the lefty peanut gallery for actually talking to Team Trump.
This is the tweet. Let's put it up here. Hey, Elon Musk, put me in charge of the Pentagon. I'll slash $400 billion easy. That'll get you 20% to your goal of $2 trillion right out of the gate. I went to Wharton 3 years before you. I own a media company, so I know how to run a business. If you really want to cut, put me in coach. Elon Musk actually responded and said, specific suggestions are welcome. What is the problem?
Cenk is a hilarious dinosaur, but in this interview, he has some really good and some really silly things to say. But I have to say, I'm a big fan of his impulse to start talking about shared values. I think his pal Anna's red pilling is having a good influence on him.
So they say, well, look, they're not really going to do it. Well, then if they don't do it, then we'll call them out on it. Again, where's the problem? Oh, they were actually going to cut Medicare and Medicaid. That's probably true, and it's very likely, and we'll fight them on that. But why would we fight them on a thing we agree on?
These Democrat complaints about Republican sincerity and whatnot have some truth to them, because that is how politics works. But it belies what Dems really think. As I clipped for the intro, when was the last time Dems cut the Pentagon? Never. That's when. Even when Gore was set to trim the fat, all that happened was that growth was stymied.
So we've been wanting to cut the Pentagon for decades on the left.
Oh wait, you're serious? I mean, you've run things for 20 of the last 32 years. Forgive me for not believing you.
And there's a reason for that, too. It's because that is where the biggest fraud and abuse are. Because anytime you go to cut the Pentagon, they go, oh, you're going to endanger national security.
Look, if we assume that everyone is equally capable of corruption, the most fraud is going to happen in the biggest department. And that is the Department of Health and Human Services by a mile. And most of the DHHS is funded through non-discretionary funds, which makes it even easier to hide fraud and pork. You think people freak out when they talk about cutting the military? You should listen, at all, when people start talking about the inevitable failure of Social Security.
And by the way, Marjorie Taylor Greene, today, when talking about how she's going to head up the Doge committee in the House, said one of the first places to cut is the Pentagon. Mm-hmm. The rest of the left, please take the win.
Yeah, I'm not meaning to sound like some sort of Pentagon booster, just trying to keep things balanced. That said, I am 100% on board with military cuts, especially in the Pentagon geared toward American adventurism.
When Elon asked, I gave him a suggestion of why don't we ban conflict of interest that the generals have. Don't let them go to defense contractors after they retire, because
Don Jr. agreed with you on that. Don Jr. agreed with you on that.
Yeah.
And this is another problem that plagues every executive and legislative body in our nation. And it is the actual source of creeping fascism. Those petty tyrants love nothing more than money and power. But that is an acquired taste. We shouldn't let people acquire it.
Yeah.
That's right. I said they authorize so much wasteful spending because they're going to get hired by those same companies. And Don Jr. said this is a great idea that has been discussed.
So let me ask you this.
Fantastic.
Well, no lies detected here, but let me know. Is Cenk actually learning something? Or is he just a useful idiot, still bought into the Democrat propaganda from 20 years ago? Let me know in the comment section down below, and we'll see you next time in Back Porch News.